guys, it's Hits from Bindaas Bollywood Dance Company. Today we're kicking off our videos and interviews and podcasts. So the first person I wanted to introduce you to is Cat from Jungle City Studios. She doesn't need an introduction, but she's pretty amazing. The one phrase that I think of when I think of Cat is she's always unapologetically authentic, and that's just the best way I can describe it. So I'm not going to blab too much. I'm just going to shoot some questions at you. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me to be part of this. I feel very honored.
Amazing artwork behind us as well. Actually, can you tell us a bit about that first?
Yeah, sure. So when we first opened Jungle City Studios, this was a big blank white wall. It was really boring. This whole place was actually really boring. And then, I just had a vision to have an art piece, and I just got recommended a friend of a friend to an artist who I just was like, this is what the place is about. Go for it. I'm always pretty free with creativity with others. So he just put this kind of picture together. And then
it's so beautiful.
Yeah, there was a lot more going on, I must say. But what ended up happening, I'm going to get kind of deep now because it was a big...
We want to hear it.
Yeah, it's going to go from being really lighthearted to whoa, shit. Okay, so when we first opened, my son's father, we opened up this place together, and within the first few months that we were here, he had a big problem with ice and drug addiction and depression, and it was obviously really horrible at the time, and he committed suicide, and which was heartbreaking on it was so many things, but it was the start of this studio, so it was a really hard time to process everything. And so this painting started when he was still with us, and then once he passed away, I kind of obviously wasn't here for quite a while, and it was really beautiful that so many of my friends and teachers from the studio all kind of band together, and they were like, we can't let this place fall apart, and they did all these kind of fundraisers, and they did these working bees and cleaned up the whole place, and did a lot of stuff, and they literally finished this art piece. So
amazing.
While I was away, because my partner was from Zimbabwe, so we had to go to Zimbabwe for his funeral and all this crazy stuff. So during all that time, they were here, looking after the place, and made this beautiful artwork. So it's actually quite a communal art piece. It was one person who designed the first drawing, but then all my friends and students and my friends' families came and painted it all, and
I think that's the definition of an amazing support network and a dance family and community family as well.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. It was I felt really, after all that happened, it was really hard for me to come back here, even though we had only been open for not even 6 months. And then when I did kind of finally walk in the doors and to see all that and everyone doing it, was just, it was so beautiful.
It's absolutely amazing. I love the expressions of each and every character. Especially the music system as well.
It really kind of nailed it for me, because I was Jungle City, the meaning of it is that it's basically, we live in this concrete jungle. Everything is so 9 to 5 rat race. Everyone's running to one place to the next. And my whole vision of my dance company was to have a space, but also a mentality that dance is that mental space, and I wanted to create this physical space where you could escape all that craziness and just go back to being human. And I think the jungle represents us, our humanity, what we, our authentic, our roots, where we all come from. We all are natural living beings, and that's where our most authentic self exists. And so so I sort of gave the artist that concept, and then I like that he made it just really playful and like
Exactly.
because it makes it like it doesn't matter what age you are. It kind of break down all that ego, because you know sometimes dance can be very egotistical, like we know.
Very
As
very
dancers, like
much.
you know when you're in the dance industry, you can get a lot of people with big egos,
Exactly.
along with beautiful, amazing people.
That's right.
But I like the idea that this place is not about ego. It's about like our childish self, our like every part of who we are, and everyone's equal. It doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your background, your ability. Nothing matters. It's just we're all together as one human family.
Oh, yes, I think perfectly said. And that's one thing I've loved. Every time I've walked through those doors, I always feel welcome.
Yeah.
And I always feel like everyone here is so grounded and they're so full of love as well.
Yeah.
And there's never any kind of animosity or any egotistical behavior that you experience at other spaces.
Yeah.
And it is a very common thing in the arts and especially dance industry. And I've always felt so open and loved here.
Yeah.
And
Good.
I miss teaching here.
I know. I miss having you here. So it's sort of. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people, their interpretation of the place when they come is just that. It's like, I've never been to a studio like this. It's so welcoming. I think it is that thing where we're not about who the best dancer is, or the majority of people that come here are not from a dance background, or maybe they've danced like when they were younger, but they come because they love the music, because the styles that we have here are quite different to traditional studios. Like we don't do classical, like Western styles.
You can even talk about that a little bit. Just even when you walk through the first set of doors before you enter the studios, you've got all the beautiful photos up of all the different teachers, including yourself, and you can see the whole variety of the styles. Can you tell me more about the different styles that you teach?
When I started dancing like more professionally, or taking it on as something I wanted to do professionally, I started with hip hop and breakdancing, popping, locking, all that stuff. But I got really into and I also did some African dance, belly dance, different styles like that.
Multi-talented.
I mean, like as a student, not professionally, but then when I discovered dancehall, that was the style that really stuck in my spirit. And also because it wasn't just the dance that I found kind of like I enjoyed the most, but the music is what I love. So it's like
very addictive.
It's very addictive. That bass and that rhythm, So I started, when I started teaching dance, the first style I started teaching was dancehall, and that was mainly because at the time in Melbourne there was nobody really teaching dancehall. Nobody really knew dancehall as a style. They kind of knew it was music. They knew it's from Jamaica, but in terms of like actually understanding the breakdown of the technique and the dance moves and the culture behind the dance, that wasn't really something that was known in Melbourne particularly. I can't speak for other states, but so I always taught in that style, and then I sort of over the years got a bit of a following. And so when I opened Jungle City Studios, the main style that I taught was dancehall, obviously, but I didn't want it to just be dancehall. I wanted to have styles that were styles like dancehall that are very much rooted in that culture. So not always having to be a traditional culture, but cultures that have been created through different communities around the world, that dance has been kind of a savior in a sense, where it's brought people together and they've created something from nothing. So like hip hop, even Afro dance styles. I mean, we have samba, we have like dancehall in all its varieties, so female style, male style. So all these dances, what they have in common is, for one, they are all have roots all going back to the continent of Africa. So, I mean, it's horrible to say, but the whole history of slavery, as much as it's a horrible, horrible history, what it did do was bring African culture to other places around the world where young communities created new styles, but they still had those roots. So when you see styles that we teach here, whether it's samba or dancehall, you can see these little like connecting dots that show you that all these styles have a, like it's like a root, the roots and then the trees growing out, and it's become all these beautiful things all around the world. And all different types of people have been able to learn them, become part of embracing what's beautiful about dance and culture, and bringing people from all different backgrounds together with this common love of dance. So I guess in a way, over the years, the styles, I've been trying to hone more and more in on having that more at the forefront of what Jungle City is about. Before, it was sort of like, I had my friends teaching here, it was sort of just like, everyone come and do what you want to do. But over the years, we've been here for 5 years now, I've now sort of started to go, okay, I feel like we need to educate more, because it's great that dance brings people together, but I think we're living in a time where understanding history and real history, and understanding the importance of acknowledging the roots and the culture of where things come from that we consume in our everyday life.
That's right.
It's really important. So that's become an important aspect of Jungle City, in that education around the roots and the culture and the history of what we learn is really important.
It definitely is, and it's so good because you're educating people that are coming into the studio from a younger age, and there's so many varieties of age that come through this studio, so it's absolutely amazing. Can you tell me now that you've touched on this, especially educating people that come into the dance space, I know that you regularly go to Jamaica as well. Can you tell me more about that? That's on my list of things to do, to come along with you one day.
You have to.
Take a break from teaching.
Adventures, Well, a break from teaching. That's what I love about going to Jamaica, because so I've been going to Jamaica now for the last 6 or 7 years. Wow. The first time I went alone, and I went to enter the International Dancehall Queen competition.
That's right. Yeah, you were the first Australian in history to do that.
I don't know, what possessed me. Well, my friend Latonya Style, she's the one that convinced me to enter. She's a Jamaican dancer who I've brought to Australia quite a few times, and she just was like, just do it. What do you
Why not?
Yeah, and I'm not a competitive person, so it was like, I've never been in competitions before, so it was kind of like when I got there and realized what I got myself into, I was kind of like, what the hell? So, but it was such a great experience. It really, it's like I was this little, I don't know, timid little thing, and then that experience just opened every part of me that, was waiting to come out. So it was a really good thing. It was a really good experience, even though it was really scary. But I got to meet dancers from all over the world, dancehall queens from all over the world. And so even though it was a competition, it was such a beautiful way to connect with so many dancers, like-minded people, and to experience Jamaica for the first time, because we got to do things that you wouldn't just do on a normal holiday. And so, just going to different venues and kind of promoting the competition, but then meeting other dancers, and all of that was sort of, I guess I got to experience the dancehall culture of Jamaica. So it wasn't just going to Jamaica for the sake of it.
Wow.
And then from there, and also doing classes with all the like dancers who I've idolized over the years.
What an amazing experience to have.
Yeah, it's so, just to be in their presence and learn, because especially styles like dancehall that come from a specific place, you can't learn it, you can only really learn it from secondhand, like from teachers like me who learn it from the people that create it, or on YouTube videos and stuff like that. So before I went to Jamaica, everything I learned was like on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it was finally this moment where I'm like, that's the energy how I'm supposed to hold in my body. That's where the weight is supposed to go. And it just all those little details that you can't get from a two-dimensional experience.
Exactly.
But also you can't get from anyone other than a Jamaican person teaching you, because it's in their blood, it's in their, they've born into this culture, so it's oozing out of their bodies.
It's second nature for them.
Yeah, exactly. So that was such a good experience, and it made me realize, like, this is what people need to do. They need to come here. Like, it's great, everyone does as much as they can, learn from whoever they can, wherever they live. But to go to Jamaica is such a valuable experience. I wanted my students to experience that, and also just anyone who wanted to experience that. So so I started running tours every year, and it's grown over the years, and I've taken, I don't know, probably at least 40 people maybe by now that have come on our trips to Jamaica, and we've done classes with all the dancers, go to all the parties, because the end of the day, dancehall, it's not just specifically, it's not a dance genre, it's a culture. So dancehall is a descriptive term of a space, which is a party, an outside party, which is what dancehall is. So they'll be playing R&B, even some Afrobeats, even some hip hop. They'll play old school reggae, they'll play dancehall music, and all of that music is dancehall because it's the space that we're in. So to take people to that environment to experience, it's very life-changing. And it's been life-changing for me, but so many of my students, so it's been awesome.
I can imagine. It's always been my dream to come with you. Fingers crossed I can take a break from you guys.
And we can travel again. Please.
I think I would just love to go, not just to learn the dance form, about the entire culture and the history of the entire country. It's just, I've heard so many beautiful things about the culture, and I've been following you, and I'm so thankful and grateful that I know you personally. And I can just actually pick up my phone and say, I'm calling Cat.
Totally. Anytime. Anytime.
But no, it's just, I cannot wait. Hopefully next time. When are you planning to go next?
Well, we did have a trip planned this year, which doesn't look like it's gonna happen. So we've had to put that on hold. So I had 8 people coming this year. So that's been really devastating. But we just have to postpone. So usually we go in July, because that's Jamaica has the same sort of holiday times as Europe and America. So that's summer holidays for them. So there's lots of big events. We go to Sunfest, which is a massive concert where you just see every artist you've ever idolized on this big stage, and then we do classes with all the dancers. But traditionally that's when the Dancehall Queen competition was on, so we always went for that. But now that competition sadly doesn't run anymore. The first 2 years I went, I entered, and then the third year they cancelled it days before we got there, which is pretty hard.
That's unlucky,
And it hasn't run ever since. So, but besides that, it's not. You still get so much out of the experience, and it's a good time of year. It's hot, but it's it's the only way to experience Jamaica. dancing in the heat, sweating, like, yeah, it's such a good feeling.
Oh,
Yeah.
fingers crossed, like
Yeah.
I said.
Yeah.
But so we touched on the topic that you had to postpone your upcoming trip, and that's because we're in the midst of this COVID-19 crisis. So what are your thoughts on this, and how has it affected Jungle City Studios, and how are you guys managing?
Well, where do I start? Yeah, it's been a really hard time for us it's been a hard time on a business level, obviously, because we had to close. So we've had to close our doors, which was really heartbreaking, especially when we had like 12 hours notice to do so.
All of us, but I guess as a studio owner for you, it must be so difficult.
Yeah, well, because, obviously I have a lease on this place, which is not cheap. So I have a certain amount of money I have to pay every month, and I'm still waiting to hear from my landlord as to what he's going to do about that. And it's like, we're in mid-April, and this happened almost a month ago now, and I still don't, I'm still expected to just pay the rent in full, even though. So I think, there's a lot of things that. There's so many. We could be here forever talking about this topic, but I think on a business level, it's been really hard. I feel really let down by the government, to be honest, about how they've dealt with small business. And when there's this huge varying scale of what a small business is. Yes, exactly. And there's small businesses that are still quite large and still quite profitable. And then there's small businesses like myself, or even yourself, artists that run themselves as a small business, sole traders that we literally are living our passion. And we've been blessed to be able to do that, but it means money has never been our priority. Expressing our art form, sharing it with others, teaching others, building the community, that's our main goal. And we make money because everyone needs money to pay bills and survive, and that's what that business side of it has always been. But now that this has all happened and we've been forced to close, and we don't necessarily employ people, we don't necessarily pull a wage ourselves, we just maintain this business that can be kind of self-sufficient in a way.
Yes, yeah.
It means that all these grants and all these things that have been put forward don't necessarily benefit us, right?
Not really, no.
Yeah, so it's like I haven't gotten any benefit of anything the government's put out as of yet. I'm still in the process of applying for things. But like I said, how long is this going to go for? And how long until we actually get any financial assistance? This could take a lot of time. So I'm in the position now, we're going to move out of our apartment because, it's it's real.
Yeah,
so
it is,
these are the things that people don't realize. I totally understand that there's a bigger picture thing here. There's people dying, and there's, around the world. And of course, we're in a situation where kind of things had to be done, and things had to be put into place. But I'm not sold on the fact that what's happened was the right thing to happen, to be totally honest. And I feel that moving forward, a lot of people like us that have contributed a lot to the community and in the arts, and just even mental health for people, having some creative outlets for people, physical outlets for people. We're going to suffer for a long time, and it's going to be really hard to build ourselves back up. And I just hope this place is here at the end of it. And unfortunately, there's a real chance that it won't be. And that's really sad. It's really sad. And
it's very heartbreaking because especially, after hearing your story, and I've known you for years now, and I know how much time, effort, more than that, the blood and sweat you put into this place.
Yeah.
And that goes for most artists or studio owners or small business owners. It was the same for us. We lost so much business just basically overnight.
Yeah.
Months and months of income gone, and it's just everything came to a halt. And yes, there's the suffering and all the deaths and the the whole virus. The whole issue has affected everyone, but it's just there's not enough assistance. Tangible, real assistance. There's a lot of talk.
A lot of talk.
But let's just say I've been doing my application for almost 2 weeks now. Almost 2 weeks, and I still haven't completed it because there's just so many hurdles to jump through. It's easy to say, oh, we are going to help the arts industry, but it's not. It's not as clear cut as that.
It's not at all. And I mean, let's face it, like this government's been cutting the arts industry for ages now, like for months and months, if not years. So it's been already, like our whole arts department disappeared and like went under some other department. I mean, I'm not like the most political person, but I know, like our government's already proven to us that the arts is not important to them. And the sad thing for me, and this is the personal side of it, is that my reason for starting a business in my studio and in dance is, to me, dance has saved my life. Like, I'm sure it has for you. And so many levels. Like, dance is something that has connected me to so many other people that have enriched my life. It's helped me through really hard emotional times. It's brought me out of some really dark places on a personal level. It's given me the opportunity to work with so many amazing people. It's done so much. And I know that as a ripple effect, it's also helped other people, my students that we work with. I've heard so many personal stories of how people's, have been in really horrible mental spaces, and dance has literally saved them. People walk through the door and they're like, if it wasn't for this class every week, I don't know what I would do. And mental health is a real big problem in our society. And why mental health doesn't get given the terminology of epidemic or things like that, when there's so many people suiciding. Obviously I mentioned before, like I've had a personal experience of my own partner committing suicide. So I know firsthand how destructive, mental health issues can be. And the drug addiction, domestic violence, all these things that are really toxic to our community. The arts is not just entertainment. The arts is a therapy for mental health. And until the government acknowledges that the arts does so much more than just entertains people and gets given the respect and the acknowledgement and the funding for us to be able to do that, then it's not just about us being out of work. It's about hundreds of thousands of people around the country going without that very basic therapeutic activity or experience that's been ripped from their lives as well, as a result of us having to be in isolation, places having to close down and all of this stuff. So I think for me, it's trying to get other people, I can see it myself, and it just kind of shocks me that more people can't see the bigger picture of everything that's going on right now. And we're seeing this one picture that's horrific and horrible and important to deal with, but what about all this that's going on around it? There's people losing their lives every day, and it's not because of the coronavirus, but it's because of what has become of our lives because of this pandemic. So that's what I worry about most of all. And I think, you know, we've taken our classes online, which I know you have, and a lot of dancers have been able to at least provide that outlet for our students, and they've been loving it. So that's been great. But there's something about the chemistry and about being with other human beings.
Exactly, just that human connection, that interaction that you get when, you know, someone's right in front of you.
There's nothing like it. And, you know, we're doing our best, obviously, and we'll continue to keep providing that outlet for students. But, you know, it's so hard not having that. I mean, hard for us, but hard for our students. I think we're not biologically made to be isolated. You know, we're biologically made to be in relation with others. You know, like a baby's born, and without that human touch from their mother, their whole growth is stunted. You know, like it's a physical reaction. It's not just a mental thing. It's not just, oh, I just want to feel happy. We physically react. Our immune systems break down when we are not physically connected with other human beings. So this is taking a real toll, I think, on all of us, you know, and it's sort of, that's my concern, and something I think that needs to get a lot more attention.
It's not, certainly not being addressed, the bigger picture, as you said. Definitely. But I don't have that much time with you left, so I've got one last question. Actually, it comes in two parts. So what would you say, so when you first started dancing, let's say you were 20. I'm not sure how old you were. But what would you say to that 20-year-old self? With the wisdom you have now?
Okay, for me, this is like a real deep personal thing for me, because I definitely had a lot of issues with confidence. So I reckon it took me until at least 25 to actually have the courage to call myself a dancer. And I would say to to myself up until that age, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck what people think?
One of the most important phrases in life, I think. And I wish I could have said that to myself. You know, when I dealt with everything from confidence issues to abusive relationships to every single hurdle in life. I wish I could have said that to myself. I mean, I say it to myself every day now, but it's just with the wisdom I've gained over the years.
And I think, like, for me, I reckon once you hit your 30s, you start to really sink into yourself as a especially for women. I feel like that's a really crucial age where you kind of go, I've got no more fucks to give. I'm just feeling the F word a lot. But, you know, it's like you get to that point where you're like, what was I worried about all that time? Why did I care so much what people thought of me? And it's just like, go in there, go in that circle and dance, and don't care what people think of you. And that would be my ultimate advice, because I think that's what holds most of us back, is our fear of what others think of us. And
I think it's just those insecurities are just, sometimes it can be generations and generations of, you know, family and society and just your circles and everything. Just a combination of so many different things. What would you say, just a message to just our entire youth audience? What's your message, just as a dancer, as an artist, as a studio owner and a successful businesswoman? And let's just pretend that coronavirus hasn't affected any of us.
My message to young people out there would be, do what you love, do what makes your heart sing, and don't give a fuck what people think. But do it with respect, and do it with a real thirst for knowledge, because you can't be, you know, a beautiful tree, flower, anything without understanding your roots. So do your research, go back and really understand what it is you're doing, because knowledge is powerful. And this day and age, we're all on our screens, we're all on social media, and everything's beautiful and everything looks pretty. But real beauty is what's really underneath, and that's gold. So yeah, educate, learn, and learn for yourself. Don't let yourself be okay with the information that you get from the mainstream. Do your own research and go deeper, and you'll find so much richness that's out there to make part of your life. Yeah.
Well said, perfectly said. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have you taking out the time, especially on a Sunday as well, away from your family.
Sunday, Monday, every day's the same. Every day's the same now.
For artists, especially.
Yeah. I mean, we've always had every day the same, but now even more.
Exactly. Thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to check out Cat's social, so Jungle City Studio. Check out their website, Facebook, and also Instagram, and make sure you follow all their videos and jump onto their online classes as well. They're pretty amazing. And make sure you come to Jamaica next time.
Yes.
See ya.
Thank you. Thanks so much.